Hello and welcome to Spirit Point. Good morning, good day, good evening. And what a beautiful day. So, the full moon happened on 2 days ago. So, yesterday was kind of like a rollout. And then today, yeah, a lot of buzzing energy. So, wanted to come on. So, what this kind of feels like is the continuation of the masculine initiation. So, it's always occurring, but one of the things that came in today was this almost walking through the dark. So, and it came in like the last couple of days has been actually really tough, or, and I'll put tough in quotation marks. It's been intense. It's probably a more correct word to say. So, with this, one of the things that I saw that happened to me personally, and then was kind of like what I saw kind of activating through the collectives. Well, and spit a lot to do with the masculine energy because they always work in tandem was this heart opening. So, and it almost feels like the true heart of the masculine. So, being on the right side, we don't have a physical heart here. And it differs from culture to culture. But connecting to the masculine heart, and then of course, you've got your core essence. I always feel like my soul's in my core of my being. So the deepest, most brightest part of myself is in the center. But my masculine heart almost felt kind of hidden from my masculine energy. So with this energy that's coming in to open, and it's an activation, it's opening. There's a lot of different things that can happen from this. So I saw some of the potentials being some of the avenues, I think is probably a way to describe this, is that when it opens, like a lot of this stuff that has kept it hidden, kept it protected, kept it from being, will get pushed up to the surface to be dealt with. So, in the masculine energy stream, specifically to do with the masculine initiation, when this happens, your go to action is to shut down. That's at least how it felt in my system. It felt old, felt like a mechanical system that had been put in place very long ago. And it's like to close down. So, just to deal with it. But with this, almost from divine kind of going in and opening it up from the core essence, from the roots up. It's kind of like you can't close it. So you can try. And that was some of the avenues I saw was that you can go down through that um, road where you'll put all your energy into closing this as it's opening and like the energy where it's meeting. It's going to be like divine versus will, love versus your will energy. So that can go, that meeting point can go for as long as it's needed. And it's kind of an endurance battle until your will energy kind of just falls away. And then it has to surrender to this. And then it comes in again, your will energy, but now it has to listen to this. So it's like, okay, what do you want me to do? So that's a couple different avenues. There's a couple different ways you can respond to this. And I think the initiation will just depend on what is needed. But one of the big ones that is occurring, I feel, with this is that as it opens up, you have this love that one is pouring into you, and two, your heart is pouring out. So it's the true love of you. It's what I talked about in the full moon love. It's kind of like it's just pouring out like sun rays, right? It's a sustained presence. And it's the core of you, but it's this soft fierceness. But, it can be really, really warm. And this um, masculine love that pours out, like it's just going everywhere it's needed. So where your heart is just pouring it. One of the interesting things is that, so when it goes to the feminine, the internal feminine, the divine feminine, so the collective feminine, the Mother Earth, your counterpart in certain situations. Yeah. If you're on that journey, that's certainly part of it. There is almost this absence that gets felt. At least, like what happened to me is like it just came in, it went, and then there was almost this silence on the other side. So it's almost like you're yelling into a canyon and there's no echo. And it was very, very interesting because part of my system actually wanted to shut down when it didn't hear a response. I was just like, whoa. And it wasn't just, it was my internal feminine, it was the divine feminine collective, it was everything. Like, it was just like, this is more love. Well, this is the love that I've always had in my body, in my soul. But like, you can't initiate that. So this is like opening. So it was really exciting, but there was no like response, which my deepest essence like knew it was completely aligned, but like my system started to go confusing. So it wanted to close down and it couldn't because it's opening up. This kept pouring out. So there was this check-in point where really my systems had to just surrender and be like, okay, and then actually point towards source and completely surrendered to how this all goes. And then it was almost more ignition and more love was just kind of pouring out. And I was just like, oh, it was complete absence of holding, complete absence of claiming. And it was a complete, wow, this is just love for the feminine and love for the masculine too, because like that was the circuit, because it was the internal love of your own system and then also the love for the feminine. It was a perfect co-creation. There was no detriment. There was no what's the word? I can't even find it right now because it's absent in the energy. Um, what's it's like detriment. I'll just use that. There was no detriment in the love, and it was just a complete. And when I felt the absence of the feminine, I was kind of like it did feel like walking into a canyon and like no echo, no response. And when I asked for clarity on it, what came through was that the feminine standing still in presence and where she's come to in this integration with source and divine in a way that is really remarkable is kind of like when she holds that presence. It's kind of like you're the masculine's coming in, it's clicking into place, but she won't deviate, she won't walk towards you because it's more important to hold that presence. And that's what's asked for. And um feeling that is really incredible because it kind of brought clarity to my system where I'm just like, oh, okay. Then yeah, she won't come to, and I have to surrender into source because I'm not chasing that. I'm not doing this for the feminine. There's nothing in that energy stream. It is simply an act of being. So this is just singing and this is just singing your tune because of course like the two collectives like there's work to be done but they work in tandem always like the masculine expression and the feminine expression come together so well. So when you have that like singing, it's like the absence and it really hurt. Like I won't say it hurt my system but it was tender on my heart because I'm just like, oh, this is a healing point. And the more I kind of sat with it, the more it kind of made sense because this is a perfect reflection point. Like, how long has the masculine system been entombed and absent? Like the true masculine system, it's been a while. Like, and you can say the same for the feminine system as well, like the true embodied feminine. But this is the tandem where it goes back and forth. So one of the things that I was shown that, like, of course, being a guy, like I didn't see this at first, was kind of like the absence from the masculine energy, the true masculine energy, and what that felt like. And then this is kind of like that perfect mirror point of like you're opening up, but there's no response. There's nothing, but it is kind of like it's not out of malice or anything. This is completely guided. This is how the energy kind of starts to swirl because that absence in that dark actually ignites more because your system can't close off anymore because this is opening. So then it's almost like this almost triggering event where you're just like, whoa, what's happening? Like what's going on? And you just kind of like continue to open and more of your essence is starting to click into place. And you're walking and you're shining, but you're walking through that and source is kind of like guiding where you're going. And it's interesting to see that because it's like the love that I felt this morning for the feminine was immense. And it was just pouring out of me with nothing and respecting in return because my system clicked into place because it understood that absence point. And it was reflecting back when the masculine has been absent and the feminine was clicking into place. That absence, that longing was kind of like the ignition to continue further and surrender into divine to the proper place. And this is exactly what's happening in the masculine. It's very fiery, it's very charged, it's very kind of like condensed. When I tapped in the condensed energy within it, man, we're just getting started. And it is kind of like this very, like just walking that way, it feels like a tunnel, but man, that condensed energy is like, there's so much in there. It's kind of like, you know what's feeling right now? When the Big Bang happened, they often say it's like the size of a pinprick. I think science says that. I remember that in a documentary. That's what's coming to me right now. That's what it feels like. Creation is like that much force and that much can happen. And it's just like, whoa, this is the initiation. This is clicking into place. And this is what you walk through. The eye of the needle, which that video came through, was like, wow. But this is how much energy is there. And it's really, but it's graceful. Like you have to surrender in every moment is so yes, I am excited and um this feels amazing and we'll continue on with this because it does feel like we're starting to hit kind of like the center stream in the initiation process. So this is very, very fun. And there's a lot of energy with all of this. And that's more than just you. Like this is everything coming into place always. So with that, I give you my love. And of course, I have sessions below if you feel called. And then we'll continue with this process and have a lovely day. I'm kind of buzzing. Like this is kind of like I'm in my body, but it feels like a kid just running out into the sprinklers where you're just playing with all this energy that's just swirling around. So it's very childlike explosion of love that's going everywhere. So I'm kind of almost a little bit hyper. So, but with that, let me see if I can settle. I give you love and smile with the sun or the rain or the snow or the clouds and say hi to the land, whoever holds you. And I think one of the other questions I have, you can give me a comment if you would like this or not. Probably do a post about it. But if you would like kind of like a live stream where it'd be kind of a Q&A, because I think there's a lot of questions and individual questions. So I can organize that if it's desired. There we go. So With that, have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.